Hey guys, it's Blue Jay Artist here. Sorry about my absence. Life is life, and it's been kind of stressful for me, and I've been kind of sick, and a lot of fun stuff. But I was gonna make more of like a scripted video on a few topics that you guys have been wanting me to talk about, aka the Warrior Cats movie announcement, like things like that. And I just thought I'd do like a little quick video just to, have you guys, a little gift before I make that giant scripted video about the movie and what I think about it. So, this whole thing, it's a Warriors tag, it's 20 questions. It was created by butterflyidentity and it's been done by people like Blix and me. And I thought it looked really fun, so I just wanted to do it. And I guess we're gonna go ahead and do this. I might kind of trip through this because it's not scripted. It's kind of like my older videos, but we'll see how this goes. So, number one, how'd you get into Warriors? Well, I never really like approached it in a way that is like, this looks interesting to me because of the plot. No, I just kind of picked it because it had a cat on it. And when I was younger, you had to go to the library to like pick out a book and you had to read something, like it was required. I was like panicking because I couldn't find anything that I thought was interesting, and we couldn't like pick up a comic book like I usually wanted to do. And I saw that there was this book that had a cat on the cover, and I was like, oh, sweet cats, because I really, really liked animals when I was younger. And I just took that one. I think it might have been Forest of Secrets, so it was like not the first book. And I read it and I was like, whoa, weird cats with weird names. This is cool. And I read the whole thing, and then I realized, I looked it up, and then I realized, that was not the first book. So I was like, oh, I got to read these over. And so I did. And now I review them on the internet. So look how far I've come. Number two, favorite arc. I think either the first one or the third one, and for two very different reasons. The first one, it's the first arc. It's the one that introduces you to the world of warriors and how they live, and it had a lot of interesting characters. It had like a very progressive plot, and you really get committed really easily to these characters, and it's just really enjoyable to read. And I say the third one too because, while I did like the second one, the third one presented a new concept. I know a lot of people don't like the whole prophecies and powers and blah, but I actually kind of liked it. Even though, not all the characters were interesting, a majority of them were. And I think it was just very intriguing to see about these powers and what they were going to do with them. And I think of why I like it over the fourth series is because, I don't know, by the fourth series it got kind of old and it got confusing with the whole dead cats versus alive cats versus Star Clan. Doesn't make much sense. Favorite book, excluding mangas, super editions, and novellas. This was actually a three-way tie for me. So I said either The Darkest Hour, Sunrise, or Thunder and Shadow, and I'll explain all three of them. So The Darkest Hour, I don't know. It's the book that everything has been building up to. Tiger Star wanting to take over the forest. Firestar becomes the leader. This awesome villain comes in and just kills it. It's so built up, and it's such a payoff to read this book after everything that's been going on. I really, really enjoyed reading it. And it really, those darker moments, like when Tiger Star gets killed 9 times over, I remember when I was younger reading that, and I was like, oh, well, I was intrigued. I thought it was cool. Now, Sunrise, this is like kind of like The Darkest Hour too, because while there hasn't been as much build up, it's just interesting to read because, I don't know, it was like, what, 2 books ago? No, it was 1 book ago. It left off with Ashford being killed, and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And you think that finally, like, she learns the truth. It's a little bit annoying to have to sit there while they try to figure out their father, but you know what? Whatever. It's worth it seeing all the whole truth come out and everyone's reactions, and how it was just really interesting to read. It was a lot more of like a character-driven build-up than The Darkest Hour, where it was the plot being like driven up. I don't know. It was very interesting to me. And I said Thunder and Shadow. I haven't reviewed this book yet, but I will. That's another thing on my to-do list. I really did like it. I always wondered what would happen if somehow one of the clans, because, in the first series, Wind Clan did get driven out, but it was only because there was like this dictatorship in charge. Well, yeah, you could argue that now, since Shadow Clan has been kind of broken, it's kind of by an evil person. I mean, it is, but it was weird, and not weird, but it was like intriguing to see it, kind of crumble from the inside. Like all of these apprentices just start to lose interest and the leader being helpless to do anything. It was just really interesting to read about. And both of the main characters in it, Violet Paw and Twig Paw, sorry, I forgot her name all of a sudden. That was really interesting to read too. I don't know, it just felt like it was a new concept that they were introducing. It wasn't just like a rehash, and I really enjoyed that. I don't know. Number 5, favorite clan. I never really got that attached to any of them, but if I had to pick one, it would be River Clan, because I don't know, as a kid, I thought it was always really interesting to see that, all these other cats are like, climbing through trees or like running, whatever. These cats swim. I get that some cats do like to swim, but I thought that was always really interesting. They just kind of were different. And I thought it was always funny how they like either describe them as being like really plump and like fluffy and sleek, or not sleek, shiny or whatever. I thought that was always kind of funny. And I don't know, I thought their way of life was just really interesting. Number 6, favorite character. This is a tie between Hollyleaf and Elderheart. I mean, you guys have heard me go on and on about Hollyleaf, so I don't really think I have to say much, but she's just such an interesting character to me that she follows the rules, and I really like characters that are rule followers, and she's really smart too, and she's also not a she-cat that has to like have some romantic interest or has to have kits. I remember one part where I don't remember why it was brought up, but Hollyleaf was like, you know what? I'm not going to sit around here and be like a baby machine. I want to like be a leader. And I just admired that a lot about her, even though she kind of went off the deep end. But that was even more interesting to me than just to have her be perfect or whatever. And I really thought she went through a bunch of interesting character arcs. And I thought she's just really an interesting character. She was like a breath of fresh air. And Elderheart, that was kind of a different kind of breath of fresh air. Very, very flawed. That's what I really enjoy about Elderheart. He clearly has some sort of anxiety thing going on. Poor baby. And you want him to succeed, and you want him to like get through life. And that's what you really want in a protagonist, to see them succeed. You don't want them to fail. I mean, if you want someone or, your protagonist to fail, I don't think that's a very good protagonist. I don't know. I really want to see him succeed, and I really love how his dialogue is written. I really love how his inner dialogue is written. Really, really good. Least favorite character. Oh boy. Okay, so I said Darkstripe, Ashfur, and Crowfeather. Honestly, Darkstripe is just because he has like no mind of his own. He's just kind of like, oh my god, Tiger Star's the best. Whatever he does is the best. I'm gonna poison some little kitten because Tiger Star's the best. Oh my god. He was not very interesting to read about, and he was just kind of a minion, and it's kind of like, no, I don't want to read about you. You're boring. Ashfur, do I need to explain? Do I really need to explain? He's honestly not a bad villain. He's actually quite an interesting villain. But at the same time, it's like the whole, why did you go to StarClan again? Why do you get to go over Mapleshade and Thistleclaw? Okay. And Crowfeather, I know I've talked about him too, but it's just, God, he's the worst. I didn't really like him. He's that kind of like, ooh, I'm grumpy, but some cute she-cat is going to like make my heart melt, and I'm going to open myself, and then she's going to die, but then I'll be like, ooh, I'm going to love again, and then I'm going to be a total dick to my son who I, had to make basically to prove my loyalty to my clan, and then I completely neglect my actual other children. I mean, he's just the worst. He's so mean. I don't think he's able to be redeemed from this point on. It's just, he's so bad. I don't like him at all. I don't like how he whines all the time. I don't sympathize with him. He just drives me nuts. I don't want to read about him. Number 8, most aesthetically pleasing cat. I said either Spotted Leaf or Silverstream. Spotted Leaf, I really, really like calicos or tortoiseshells, whatever you want to call them. And just the way that she's described all the time, I don't know, she just sounds like she's really pretty. And she's like this like really tiny cat who's like really cute. I bet all the fan art of her is really pretty. I always thought that she had a really nice design. And with Silverstream, I remember when I first read the books, I thought that, I like imagined in my head that Silverstream was like the prettiest cat ever. Like she was like so like sleek, and like her eyes were like probably really blue, and she was really silver and really pretty. It's another way, like, how she's described, that just seems like she'd be a really like pretty looking cat. Favorite leader. I bet everyone has said this, but my favorite leader is Tall Star because I don't know, he was never like so strong about his opinions, but like he was still willing to like fight for his clan. And I just really like him as a character too. And he also doesn't want to like start fights all the time, which I really admire. He's not like every clan leader that they say something like slightly off-putting, like, hey, I won't go to war with you, you stupid. I don't know. It's just the way that he ruled. There's some way that he just, kept the peace and didn't want to fight. I just really like his character too, so that's why he's my favorite. Number 10, favorite villain. Actually, this took me a little bit longer to decide. It wasn't because there were so many good villains. I mean, there's only so many frickin' brown tabbies that you can choose from. But honestly, I think my favorite villain is Maple Shade. I know this sounds bad because I kind of ragged on her in the my review of Maple Shade's Vengeance, because honestly, this is bringing the Dovewind and Tigerheart book back again. But like, if they're gonna get a super edition, why didn't she get a super edition? Why is there another stupid Sky Clan cat getting a book? I haven't read that yet. Don't judge me. But like, out of all the characters to not get a super edition, it's her? I mean, come on. I mean, you could have gotten so much like detail and like what she was feeling more than just in like 100 pages. But whatever. Okay, anyway, besides that, I think Maple Shade is just really interesting because as a kid, I always remember reading these books when there'd be forbidden relationships, like with not Darkstripe, oh my god, Gray Stripe. I remember thinking, like, what would happen if the clan rejected them? Like with Blue Star, too. What if the clan hadn't, like, let them stay or had banished them? And that's exactly what happens with Maple Shade, and it's just so interesting to see that concept explored. And she's just really interesting how she kind of verbally like manipulates people, like especially with Crooked Star. I find that character more interesting than a character who's just like super powerful and like don't mess with them because they got like huge muscles. Number 11, favorite medicine cat. Everyone has said this as well, but honestly, Cinderpelt. I don't know, there's just something about her. The way that she like never gives up, and even after you would expect her life to go to shambles because she gets in this accident where she can never be a warrior again, she still like looks in every day with like glee and learns as much as she can and really helps her clan in any way that she can. And she's like one of the only medicine cats to not like act on her love. I know I've said that before too, but it's just kind of refreshing to not see every medicine cat's main, especially a she cat, a female medicine cat, have to go through the whole, oh, but I love him, but I'm a medicine cat. Maybe I'll just be dumb and have kits anyway. Ha ha ha. I mean, yeah, Spotted Leaf didn't have kits, but I bet she would have if he'd been a bit older and she hadn't died. Oh, so annoying. I can't get over that plot. I'll make a whole rant about that because that makes me really mad. But you know what? Cinderpelt is a good character. She is unique. She is enthusiastic, and she didn't follow that she-cat stereotype of having her whole plot centered around her being in love. Number 12, overrated character. That goes to either Scourge or Jayfeather, honestly, because I mean, I do like them, but I think they get a little bit too much attention in the fandom, especially because, like, you see in most, like, AMVs with Scourge, you see a lot of, like, his siblings bullying him and Tiger Star, like, beating him up. But I remember reading the manga, and, like, right at the beginning of it, it's like, we are in no way trying to justify Scourge's actions, and people, like, blame everything on, like, Thistleclaw or Tiger Star or like Socks and Ruby on what happened to him, but his decisions were his own decisions. So I feel like people are trying to make him too much of like like a sympathetic villain, when I really think all that he was like this really interesting villain that came in for one book and died. I don't think he was supposed to be anything more than that. And the community just like obsesses over him, and I don't really understand why, but whatever. And Jayfeather, in the past, I know I really liked Jayfeather, but, like, he's not, like, the best character. I don't know. He's not horrible, but, like, I feel like the fandom or community or whatever you want to call it kind of obsesses over him too much, too. I mean, he is interesting with being blind and being more of, like, the grumpy character, but he's really not that great. People make him out to be like he's a really complex character, but he's not really. Whatever. 13, underrated character. I said White Wing. A lot of people said Brackenfur, and while I do agree with that, I honestly think White Wing is just, I don't know, when I was reading the Omen of the Stars series, the moments when Ivy Pool and Dovewing were like feeling down, she was like always there to be like, what's wrong? Are you okay? I just feel like she was a really, really good mother. And I feel like not a lot of people acknowledge that really. So, props to White Wing. 14, favorite minor character, I said Brackenfur. Yeah, I know. I don't really think he's that underrated anymore because I feel like the community just like really attached to him because I think a lot of people are realizing what a good character he is. And I think he's a minor character. So I don't know. He's just really sweet and he's really honorable, and his relationship with Sorreltail was really nice and simple. He's just a character. Not all these characters have to be complex and brooding loners and whatever. They can be like Brackenfur and just an ordinary warrior with an ordinary love life and children. Just relax. And I love Brackenfur. 15, favorite pairing. I might be cheating on this one a bit, but I say Tallstar and Jake because there are pieces of evidence that prove that the authors really did want them to like be a thing, but they didn't say it officially. I really would like warriors trying to, spice it up a bit with, LGBT things. And I really do like that they're introducing this same-sex couple. I know I'm pushing it a bit, but like they built this, and when he first meets Jake, he's like, okay, why are you here? And Jake's like, I just want to go to the forest. And it's like, okay. And you see over time, they like start to become friends and like get closer. And God, it's just bits of dialogue that they do that it just seems so like they're in love. And it's like, oh, and Tallstar never took a mate. And, Jake was there when he was going to StarClan. And it's like, oh my God, it was so like cute to read, and it's like, oh, I love them. And if I had to pick a canon couple, I'd say Firestar and oh my God, I said Sandstorm, because I know I said in my remake of my favorite couples, I said Bramblestar and Squirrelflight, but I don't know. Firestar and Sandstorm, I just feel like had such development and really, got along together, and they support each other through everything. Still don't really like the Spotted Leaf thing, but I really like them as a couple. Least favorite pairing. No one's surprised. That is Dovewing and Tigerheart. That's literally a surprise to no one. I don't think I have to explain myself. Let's just move on. 17, favorite friendship. Ravenpaw and Barley. This is not confirmed either, but it seems like Tall Jake is more confirmed than Ravenpaw and Barley. Because they're really cute. They help each other out, and they're really close, and they live in a barn together. I have not read Ravenpaw's Farewell, or whatever his novella is, but I bet it's really good. I just haven't read it yet. I will get around to doing that. But I just really like their friendship and how Ravenpaw, I think Barley honestly helped Ravenpaw become more of like a brave character. He helped him through all his problems and got over his nervousness a little. And I really admire that. And I feel like they work really well together and they care about each other a lot. I would not mind them becoming a couple either. I think that'd be actually really cute, but it seems like they're more of a friendship type thing. I don't know. Maybe it is confirmed. Maybe it's explored in Ravenpaw's Farewell. Who knows? But my current moment, they are my favorite friendship. 18, favorite moment. This was kind of hard to pick because it's really general and you're like, what do I do? This is kind of an odd choice, but honestly, it's when Hollyleaf returns from the tunnels and the Forgotten Warrior. I actually was considering putting the Forgotten Warrior on my favorite book list, but I don't know. It's just something about that scene that's so genuine. And it's not like Hollyleaf's like, oh my God, I can't wait to see you again. I mean, this whole time we've seen Hollyleaf be really hesitant about coming back, and how this whole time she's been hiding in the tunnels. I mean, like you see in Hollyleaf's story, there are parts where she's wanted to come back, but that's when she finally comes back and she reunites with everyone. It's just really interesting to see those character interactions again, because you can see that at the same time that she's happy to be back, there is a bit of stiffness with her, with her two mothers or whatever, Squirrelflight and Leafpool. I don't know, that was really interesting to me. It was a really interesting character scene. That's why I really liked it. 19, most tragic death. I said either Yellowfang or Silverstream's death, because I remember, everyone says this too, but I remember I cried at Yellowfang's death, because it's just the way that she talks to Fireheart, and her last moments were her saving a ThunderClan cat. It was, her last breath was serving the clan that took her in, and it's just, the more you think about it, the sadder it gets, and how she talks to Fireheart about, how she wishes that he was her son, and it's like, oh my gosh. And it's just a really touching scene. And Silver Streams, too. I mean, this whole time, they've kind of been, kind of fooling around almost. I mean, they're like, kind of like Romeo and Juliet. They're just like these two really young people, young cats, whatever, in love. And you just feel like, they're not really thinking seriously about this. Because I remember Fireheart asking Graystripe, like, what are you going to do when the kids are born? They're like, I'll figure something out. Well, when she dies, it's like, you feel heartbroken because he's left alone, and that was like the love of his life, and she dies giving birth to the kids that they were gonna like somehow figure out, and just it's heartbreaking. And the dialogue too, and the weight that Silverpelt feels. Oh my god, I said Silverpelt. Oh my god, I meant Cinderpelt. The like how she feels like she can't fix anything, and Graystripe being utterly just devastated. All of those emotions in that scene really come together and just make it really, really sad. Finally, number 20, Lion Clan versus Blood Clan is my favorite battle/fight scene, because the way that it's just described as being like this mass battle of just everyone fighting each other, and we see the first time in like a character's POV, they die and then they come back to life, and it's so cool, and everything gets built up to that one battle, and it's just so epic. And the whole time you're like reading what's going on, you're like, oh my god, that just happened, and that just happened, and Whitestorm just died, but then all the apprentices killed Bone. It's like, whoa, what is going on? And then Firestar dies, and he comes back and he kills Scourge, and it's so action packed and fun to read. Like every page you're just finding something new, and it was just really exciting to read. So that was my little tag video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It wasn't very formal or anything. Sorry about that. But I assure you, videos will be out soon. They're just more scripted, so they take more time. Thank you guys for listening. Blue Jay Artist out.